NorCal, 209 King of Comedy. It's Rick without the K. James presents, in my opinion, podcast.
Next topic we're going to talk about is do you believe anybody in today's R&B scene could survive the real talented Motown era?
Era? Yeah.
Yeah, that era where, Temptations, Marvin Gaye, just soulful fucking singers. Is there anybody out there where you're like, man, they was probably just born in the wrong era? Let me go first.
Yes.
There's a couple of people out there. There's a couple of people that I listen to. What's it? Bryson? Is it Tiller? Thriller?
Tiller.
Yes.
I think soulful voice. Frank Ocean, soulful voice. So there's people out there, but I think you got to look for it because I think too much shit is auto-tuned now. Like T-Pain. I think they would have laughed at that motherfucker.
Right, but he's not. In T-Pain's defense, though, he's not an R&B crooner. He's never thought of himself or was presented as one. He was like a hip hop guy.
You have the videos where he sings normal without that, and he sounds great.
Sounds great.
Well, not in that Ruffles commercial. No.
The rough. I honestly.
So we're gonna let you start it off.
I don't think there's any reason to believe why somebody like, for example, Keisha Cole. Okay, there's no reason to believe why someone like her wouldn't be able to hang in the Motown era. She's got the powerful voice. It's just a different type of music now. The Motown era was the beginning of R&B as we know it in America. So we kind of look at them as like, they're like when we were having the hip hop conversation, they're like the Run DMC. That's like the era that started it all. So I look at somebody like Keisha Cole, for example, or even Ariana Grande, for example, which I don't follow her music because that's a little too teeny boppy for me.
Notice how he mentioned her, and then I don't listen to her.
No, I mean, no, because I want to clarify. Like, I want to clarify that I'm past that stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm too old to be listening to Ariana Grande. But when I was 19, 20 years old, that would have been my jam right there. That would have been right, exactly what I'm looking for. So, you get to a certain point where it's like, I'm a Mary J. Blige guy. I'm a Keisha Cole guy. That's my era. So I know that those are the people that I'm going to think of first when I think of R&B. But I recognize the talent when I see a girl like Ariana Grande. No reason why she wouldn't have been able to hang in the Motown days. She's got everything that you want. She's got the stage presence. She's a great performer, and not to mention it's a super powerful voice. So yes,
Cole came out with anything new
recently? Not that I know of, but the shit that she has come out with, in my mind, will be forever great. Because her talent is undeniable. You could play you could play Love right now. That song Love, you could play that anywhere, and if you want to hear a great voice, you're gonna recognize that in her. So she can hang in any single era, if you ask me. But I don't think she's come up with anything new lately, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought maybe I didn't hear.
She just had a baby
because we were talking
like a year ago or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were talking about stuff
Yeah.
right before it, and we were talking about like your artist, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna list off of yours, and then I brought up Bay Area because we talked about how we all lived in the Bay Area, and then I brought up her.
Right.
You know what I mean? And she was like, "Oh, she's from the Bay."
Right.
And I was like,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And I was
Oh yeah, she's from Vallejo. Yeah.
yeah. And I
I
said,
like
so
her a
I was
lot.
like, she's got a good voice. I think that's another person that
Yeah.
that would slide into to Motown. So
I think you're looking
who's
at
your list without
Chris
your
Brown.
notes? I do want
Sure.
to say that she didn't bring any notes.
No notepad today, y'all.
They had something to say.
No,
No
I got a
notes.
lot
Oh
of
my bad.
time for that.
This is the camera. I've been looking at this camera the whole time. Like, no notepad, y'all. I respect it though. Freestyle game on point.
I'm trying. I feel like R&B is so much bigger. Like I felt like we were for rap just in a certain area where I need to have my specific notes.
Yeah.
So this is no notes. But I feel like I love her. Maybe Chris Brown. Because he had all the stage presence and did all of that. Definitely Rihanna. But I would go back a little bit more, like Anita Baker, Sade, people like that, Maxwell. That can last a little bit longer and have more CDs than just that one-hit wonder type of CD.
Right.
That's the hard thing, because how much are you listening to in your car? Like Sade has how many CDs out? Anita Baker has how many CDs out? And I'm listening to all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Since you bring that up, I think we brought it up on the last episode about I thought a good rap album was 4 tracks or more. That was better than the whole fucking album. But I want to say when I listen to R&B, it's got to be like 80% of the fucking CD for me.
Yeah.
And most people's R&B CDs where you listen to like what's that, the brown cover for Joe.
The brown cover for Joe?
Yeah, on Joe's CD.
Okay.
Fucking that's just a banger all the way through.
Right.
So do you guys judge that as well when you listen to R&B, where you're like, ugh, this shit
You know,
is just...
honestly, man, when it comes to R&B, R&B hits me differently. Like I love hip hop. I was raised on it, but like for me, the first thing I like to listen to in the morning is something soulful. You know what I mean? I prefer R&B over everything. You know, like I think of like songs, you know, like Yayo by Erykah Badu. You know, like that's the type of shit I listen to in the morning, like when I'm drinking coffee. That's the shit that really speaks to my soul. So I say that to say this. If an artist gives me one good ass R&B song, I will appreciate them and I will favor them, because I feel like R&B, you know, it speaks to me differently than rap does. Rap, to me, hip hop is like an activity. So I need the whole album to be good, or a good amount of it, or a good percentage of it to be good, because I want to be active throughout the whole album. Yeah. But if Her comes out with one dope ass song, I'm good with that. Even if the rest of it isn't as good as that one dope ass song, I appreciate that. I favor her for that, because R&B just strikes me a little bit differently. I could sing that song all day, every day. I could listen to it multiple times. Hip hop, I need you to give me some dope like multiple dope tracks. R&B, only one or two.
You think it's like that because you're not paying for the whole album anymore? You can go and buy one track. Or
No, I mean, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. I think nowadays people probably don't appreciate albums in any genre like the way we used to appreciate them before, because like what you just mentioned, it's so easy to get the entire track. You don't really need to go buy an album anymore. You can collect the songs, you know. You can just download all the songs at some point. So you don't really appreciate an album. I don't think we're looking at albums like these big pieces of work anymore. We're just looking at the individual songs and being like, oh, that was dope. Yeah, that one song is dope. And then you never listen to the rest of the album because you don't have to.
There's actually a jazz CD I have by an artist named Roy Hargrove that I can listen to beginning to end.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And it's just, and that's a whole day.
Yeah.
You know, of me relaxing, cooking, drinking, like whatever I'm doing. It's just the whole entire thing, and it just meshes into, and I miss that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I miss having that. Because you get an artist that has one song, one track, and that's it, and everybody bumps it, and then, okay, where'd that artist go?
Right.
Into blah, blah, blah.
And I think that's what it's for me. Is maybe I'm just that old dude set in his old ways that
you are. You are.
And I'm starting to realize that, hearing myself talk, where I'm like, man, I still look at an album for the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because I remember having to go to the fucking flea market and buy the buy the old school tape.
This motherfucker was buying shit at the flea market.
I guess I really wasn't supporting them.
But you know what though? I know, right? Like, hey, whoever's out there, make sure you bootleg this episode.
Funny, man,
sell it at the flea market.
I gotta tell this story. Is Life Jennings, man, who I think again would definitely make Motown era. Life Jennings just fucking is a dope sounding voice, and I was watching his shit, and he goes, when I came out with my first album and I went on tour, people were coming to me with bootleg copies asking me to sign my fucking CD.
How the fuck am I autograph my own bootleg copy, man? Shit, that's counterfeit. That's counterfeit.
Shouldn't you as an artist?
What was that?
Shouldn't you as an artist?
Well, I mean,
I get that's jacked up, but not everybody has the money for.
As you know what, if you're a struggling artist, you might get mad at that point. You'd be like, bitch, I'm over here eating top ramen, and you over here pirating my music, you know. But if you've blown up already, then maybe it might be a little bit easier. But I don't want to contradict myself, you know, when I said earlier that as an artist, once you create the art and you put it out there, it's no longer yours anymore. Yeah. But it is a little insulting when somebody shows up with a bootleg copy of your shit. It's like, damn, doggy.
That's what he said. He goes, I kind of didn't look at it like that. I was just so happy that my art was being loved at that point. Yeah. Where he goes, I signed it. He goes, but I didn't even really think of that because he spent fucking time in jail, got out, and he basically became successful within 6 months of getting released. Right. So he goes, I remember that first album, and mostly, here's something that I didn't know, that I guess he got the deal with Sony, but he also had a deal on the table with Irv Gotti. And Irv Gotti was gonna bring him in, and that's when Ashanti and shit was big.
Okay.
And Irv was like, okay, well, that music sounds good, but what we need to do is come out with this kind of shit first.
Right.
And that's when he said, I left and said, no, I signed with Sony because they basically let me drop my demo, and that's what I came out with. So he goes, so when people were coming and buying my fucking album, they or making me sign it. He goes, I was selling that out of my trunk of my car for $1. He goes,
Right.
He goes, that's basically, I didn't want to lose any money by giving my shit away. So the $1 is what it cost me to press it and give it out.
Yeah.
He goes, so as long as people were listening to my music, that's all I gave a shit about.
Yeah.
Because
That-
this was my life.
and that-
I think to this day is his best CD. I think I bought it 6 times.
And that's the right mentality. If you're an artist, you know, it's tough to be an artist and a business person at the same time. I feel like it's really difficult to be both of them effectively. You can be better at one than the other because they're a contradiction. Artists and art and business, it is a contradiction in and of itself, you know? So I understand we all want to make our money, but you got to consider the fact that what you're making, you know, what you're selling is creation, is ideas, is, you know, your feelings almost, you know what I mean? And that in reality, that comes from, it's supposed to be like an eternal spring. Like you don't run out of creativity. You don't run out of ideas. If you're an artist, like you're always looking for new ways to develop your creation. So, you know, you want to regulate the money part, but you have to make a decision at some point. You got to be like, look, man, if my shit gets bootlegged, my shit gets bootlegged. So be it. Or make the decision in the other direction of like, no, fuck that. I'm getting my money no matter what. It's probably going to cost you some of your artistic integrity, but that's up to you to decide. What do you want? Personally, I'd rather just give it away, man. Because in the grand scheme of things, dog, like I do what I do because I want the world to see my work. In the grand scheme of things.
I've seen it on the other side doing stand-up.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen it where you might love a fucking comedian, and then you go buy, and we have comedians out there where you're like, hey, man, do you mind if I sign? Nope, buy my picture, and then I'll sign.
Right.
Where you're like, dude, like, and then you lose that respect sometimes for that person, but you understand that they're also there to do a job, and they're trying to make money too, because you got to look at it from the artist standpoint that some of these dudes have door deals or whatever, so they're not making as much money as you think these artists are. And then sometimes you got artists where you're like, you made that much?
Yeah.
Like, you're not even that good.
Or even if you're a comic and people are somebody stealing your material. Like that's the real piracy in the comedy world. You steal my material. You heard me at a showcase or an open mic. You take my joke and you run with it. You know what are my options? My options are to either be the businessman and go like let your ass know, or maybe fucking even fight you or some shit. I don't know to what extent these people go to when they get their material stolen, because I'm not a fucking maniac like that. Or you choose the route of the artist and be like, all right, dog. Well, you know you can't do it yourself, so you have to copy my style. So be it. I can come up with more things. That's the difference between me and you. You a sucker because you had to steal my shit. I'm not a sucker. I have more ideas. You know what I mean? But you have to decide what lane you want to be in, you know?
You were talking about that in rap with Drake, too.
Exactly.
How he had copied word for word someone's
Like 8
lyrics.
bars of rapping Fortes.
Yeah.
8 bars, yeah.
Sometimes I think that's what takes the talent, and I'll bring it back to R&B though. Is like "You Are Not Alone." Do you know who wrote that song?
No.
By Michael Jackson. He sang it.
Elton John?
R. Kelly wrote that song. So sometimes you got to look at that shit and you got to realize, like, maybe that's not for my voice.
Right.
It's somebody else's.
Oh, definitely.
Boy, Charlie Murphy, my main man, Rick James. That's the one you think, the comedian Rick James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying, I can't breathe.
Please hit the subscribe button down low so you can see all new clips, all new episodes coming to you.